Hello guys, welcome back. In this video we'll be starting our discussion of receiver characteristics. We have already discussed what is source characteristics and what is message characteristics. Let's start with the receiver characteristics. Now in receiver characteristics there are three basic points. What is first? The personality characteristics, because based on the personality characteristics the person receives the message and is persuaded by the message. Okay. The second is the intelligence, because intelligence is the information processing ability, and based on its intelligence is the person persuaded. And finally, selective attention, exposure, and interpretation. Right, we'll get into the cultural aspects of the receiver. Okay. Now first discuss what are the personality characteristics. First is, if the person is very anxious. Now first let's discuss what is anxiety. Anxiety is a state of uneasiness caused by an impending threat. For example, during election times, a political party raised the anxiety level. The reason they raise the anxiety level by showing the impending threat is for example, Pakistan, it uses the threat of India, and it uses the threat of the India overtaking Pakistan, and vice versa for other countries also, right? And they also use hope. So once the anxiety level is increased, the reasoning of the people decreases, and they are easily influenced by the messages that reduce their anxiety level. Okay, the political parties claim that they will solve their problem. Okay, so mass voting for that party. Okay, so that's the role of anxiety. Second is the self-esteem. Now evaluation of one's self-concept. If the evaluation is positive, according to person, he has a high self-esteem. If the evaluation of himself by the person is negative, it leads to low self-esteem. Now a person with high self-esteem is less influenced by the counter-attitudinal messages, because he is convinced by the attitude position held by himself. He believes, he has trust in the attitude he holds. Okay. But however, if presented with the logical appeals with relevant emotional mix, some attitude changes in them can be achieved. Now in India and in many parts of the world where the culture of the country is masculine, okay, the society is masculine, lots of people suffer from megalomania. Megalomania. That is the delusion of grandeur, show of attitude. Okay. But the reality is, the more you know how little you know. Okay. Second is intelligence. Now intelligence is, as I've already told, information processing ability of an individual. Now if a person is more intelligent, he is less likely to be influenced by the persuasive messages. But if he is given the logical appeals backed by the facts, some attitude changes can be. The third receiver characteristics is selective attention, exposure, and interpretation. Why the prefix selective has been used, we'll study that. Existing attitude. Okay, if a person would love to select the information out of the talk given, or out of any information, person would love to select the information which conforms with the attitude with the existing attitude of that person, and would leave the information which challenges his attitude. It's because when person sees these attitude which challenges his attitude, the person seeks information or selects the information which challenges his attitude, it would be a very difficult process of restructuring the complete attitude from the scratch. Okay, so we see things as we are, not as they are, and this is because of the selectivity. Okay, the problem is the person will keep interpreting the things which support his existing attitude, And this is because of the culture in which we live, right? There is a famous saying: you can take man out of the culture, but you cannot take culture out of the man, right? So many times we don't deliberately avoid the counter attitudinal message, but because of the culture in which we live, we get exposed only to that information which supports our existing attitude. Okay, now to bring about the effective redressal to the problem of selective exposure, the change agent must present the messages in a culturally congruent manner and repeatedly expose the target group to the message. But even when the problem of selective exposure has been successfully addressed, still the desired attitudinal change is not, is not seen because of the selectivity of the information in the exposed messages. Earlier we were finding that the information was not being exposed to that person. Okay, so what's the solution? In culturally congruent manner, expose the messages. Now the thing is how to solve the attention problem and interpretation problem further. The attention problem and the desired attitudinal change can be achieved if the information is received in receiver friendly symbols. Secondly, supporting it with the relevant illustrations, okay, examples, seeking constant feedback wherever possible, and provide non-verbal cues to support the verbal cues. Okay, and finally, keeping it short and simple and making it interesting, right? So as far as the receiver characteristics is concerned, we discussed what are some of the personality characteristics, what are some intelligence characteristics so that the persuasion can be improved, and how the problem of selective attention, exposure and interpretation, this problem can be overcome so that persuadee is persuaded. So that's all. Thank you.